And it looked like Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White definitely had a situation where they was in a heated exchange right before halftime. Guys, word on the street is that Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White exchanged words going into halftime of this Atlanta Dream game. Now, I'm here to tell you, no footage has emerged of the altercation, but I'm pretty sure within a couple hours it's going to be roaming somewhere out there that this exchange happened.
Caitlin Clark snaps at her coach on live TV. Yes, it happened, and the entire basketball world is talking about it. But here's what you haven't seen. This wasn't just a sideline argument. It was a breaking point, one that could tear the Indiana Fever apart from the inside.
Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White were having a heated discussion at halftime. Word in the street is Caitlin Clark told White to sit Kelsey, Mitchell, and Howard because they don't pass. Could be true. Caitlin went to tie her shoe. Like, that is something that I noticed. Like, Caitlin literally, when Natasha Howard had the ball, she didn't even look. She was basically walking back on defense. She essentially walked back on defense every time Natasha Howard had the ball.
And once you hear what really led up to that moment, you'll realize it's much worse than anyone thought. The Indiana Fever are not okay. On the surface, it looks like a struggling team with young talent trying to figure things out. But behind the scenes, it's chaos.
Look, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White clearly like and respect one another, right? But that doesn't mean they always see eye to eye. And I am beginning to suspect more and more that there's a bit of a divide between the way that they see the game and the way that they think the Indiana Fever should play. You can just hear what they have to say and connect the dots a little bit.
At the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in women's basketball, the one every fan came to see, the one who's breaking records, selling out arenas, and apparently clashing with her own coach.
Listen, man, this Caitlin Clark versus Stephanie White thing could turn ugly, and it could turn ugly fast, y'all. I have to be straight up with y'all. Stephanie White wants to play the polar opposite way that Caitlin Clark wants to play. The Indiana Fever got a big win yesterday, and it was a tale of two halves. The first half, the Indiana Fever played that Stephanie White style, that grinded out, ugly, puke basketball. Puke basketball in the first half. The second half, Caitlin Clark, even though she was making shots, went full throttle, pedal to the metal, and was running. She was just flat out running, pushing the tempo. And what did? We go put up almost 100 points. We go score 99. And I'm hearing about this altercation in the tunnel or around halftime. And if it happened, I'm glad it happened. And it needs to continue to happen. And Caitlin Clark needs to continue to put her foot on their neck because this is her team.
That's right. Multiple reports confirm that Clark and Fever head coach Stephanie White had a heated halftime argument, caught on camera, seen by thousands, and now going viral. Sources say Clark was furious, tired of being ignored by teammates who refused to pass her the ball, and she let the coach know it.
It was only a matter of time, bro, that Caitlin Clark was going to obviously have words with Stephanie White. We noted that she's been running this motion offense, and Caitlin Clark cannot get in the rhythm. A lot of people thinking Caitlin Clark hurt. I don't believe she's hurt. I believe Caitlin Clark cannot simply get into rhythm. That's why she has not been shooting very well. And I was one of the first people to tell y'all this was going to happen. Told y'all about a week ago, Caitlin Clark was going to come back. And if nothing is going to change, we're going to see the same Caitlin Clark we've seen right before injury.
According to eyewitnesses, she even told White to bench those players. Specifically, Kelsey Mitchell, Natasha Howard, veterans who repeatedly looked Clark off mid-possession, and it wasn't subtle.
All right, so let's take a look at the clip here. People talking about body language, people talking about Caitlin is fed up. They're talking about how Howard is just selfish with the ball. Let's just take a look at it, man. So she dumps it down. Watch Caitlin's shoulders here. She kind of like, Then she goes to tie her shoes as Howard goes to work and misses the layup, man. Oh, my goodness. Now, tying your shoes is kind of diabolical. Now, I've seen it before where players take a little time to kind of tie their shoes if they're out of the play and they know they're not going to get the ball in it or something like that. But, yeah.
Clark's body language was loud. She walked back on defense, tied her shoes during active plays, and refused to make eye contact when certain teammates had the ball. This wasn't just frustration, this was a silent protest, One moment said it all. End of the third quarter. Natasha Howard has the ball. Caitlin Clark is wide open. Howard looks her off again and runs straight into traffic. Wastes the entire possession.
And by the way, if you guys didn't see Natasha Howard looked off Caitlin Clark to end the third quarter. She looked off Caitlin Clark to end the third quarter in what was just incredibly dumb play. And again, I do want to apologize about the size. I do want to apologize about the size of these clips. If I make the clips any bigger, I will get copyright claims. If you're wondering why I'm not doing any breakdowns and why people aren't doing that, they're going to get copyright claims. So, if you didn't see here, Natasha Howard looks off Caitlin Clark to run to nowhere. Takes 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 steps, does the cha-cha slide, and gets it to Caitlin Clark with 3 seconds to go, and she has to shoot a tough step back.
Moments later, Howard even blocked her own teammate Clark at the rim. Let me say that again. Blocked her own teammate. That's not basketball. That's disrespect. So where was Coach Stephanie White? Nowhere. Silent. Letting it happen. The truth is, this has been building for weeks because the Fever are running 2 different offenses on the same court. One is Caitlin Clark's system, modern, fast-paced, unselfish, built on ball movement and IQ.
You got to understand something, Stephanie White. You could have stayed in Connecticut. Caitlin Clark didn't go to Connecticut and join your program. You came where she was. Natasha Howard came where she was. She did not go join y'all. So don't try to come over here and take away everything that she does well and try to get her to blend into what y'all do. The fans have spoke. This Stephanie White versus Caitlin Clark thing can turn very nasty, and let's really see which way do you think the organization is gonna go. You gotta remember, Kelly Crosskoff and Amber Cox, they out here trying to sell the Indiana Fever as Apple. Apple, man, y'all ain't no goddamn app. Y'all not even Boost Mobile. You do realize this franchise didn't make the playoffs for over 10 years until Caitlin Clark got there. You do realize Kelsey Mitchell was winning like 6 games a year as a pro. She was winning like 6 games a year. This ain't no Apple. This ain't no Apple. Caitlin Clark is the Apple.
The other, ISO plays. Hero Ball, a system that relies on contested mid-range shots and chaos. And it's not working. The Fever had a game recently where everything clicked. Clark took over in the second half even though her shot wasn't falling. She kept pushing the tempo, found open teammates, made elite-level reads. Within 6 minutes, a 4-point lead became a 17-point blowout. The team looked unstoppable. That wasn't luck, that was Caitlin Clark. But instead of committing to that style, Coach White keeps trying to balance both systems.
It was about a little under like 6.5 minutes in this game where Clark gets angry. She gets normally like visibly pumped up, and she just starts like it's like there's like a switch that flipped at this moment. She just started attacking like relentlessly, driving into the lane, taking fouls, taking hard shots, getting rejected, doesn't matter. She's pushing pace, she's in your face, she's getting aggressive, and that's opening up everything else. And while her shot wasn't falling tonight, she had some good open looks.
And it's killing the team's chemistry. Let's be honest, Caitlin Clark isn't the problem. She's the only thing holding this team together. She's doing everything she can, passing, rebounding, defending, while teammates walk around, hold the ball, and freeze her out. And it's not just effort, it's culture. Take Kelsey Mitchell. Last season, she sprinted off the ball, made herself available, attacked the rim. This season, she walks it. No cuts, no spacing, no urgency. That's not a coincidence. That's a statement. Some of these players are more focused on stat padding than winning. And the coaching staff is too afraid to pick a side. Well, Clark picked one. She's not here for drama. She's not here to be everyone's friend. She's here to win. And when she snapped at Stephanie White, she wasn't lashing out. She was demanding accountability because Clark knows what winning looks like. She's done it her whole life. And this system, it's not going to work. That sideline blow-up wasn't the story. It was the symptom. Behind the scenes, this team is splintering. Players like Sophie Cunningham, they get it. They run. They space. They trust Clark to lead.
Part of that was also Sophie Cunningham. So Sophie Cunningham tonight, like most importantly, was 4 for 5 from 3, had 10 rebounds, so a double-double on the night and 16 points total. And she also had a blocked shot. So she was all over the floor. She was getting lots of rebounds, 2 of them offensive, and really making a huge impact in being that set 3-point shooter to also supplement the offense, which Hull hasn't been as successful with, or other players haven't been as successful with consistently, including Clark. And so to have another player that can kind of pick up that slack and start to rein in those threes so we can match the Atlanta Dream, who were, crushing it on 3-pointers. I think between just Jordan Canada and Ryan Howard, they had 10 on their own. So we needed someone to match that, and Sophie was that player tonight, getting hype and out there, getting the crowd hype too. So huge impact from Sophie tonight. Really, the comments about being pissed off about the previous game came to fruition here.
But others, they're stuck in the past, refusing to adapt, refusing to move without the ball, and refusing to follow Caitlin's lead. So now Indiana has a decision to make. Either they build around Caitlin Clark, or they keep juggling egos, sacrificing chemistry, and wasting one of the greatest basketball minds this game has ever seen. Because Caitlin isn't just a scorer, she's a system. When she runs the show, the Fever win. When they ignore her, chaos takes over. You can see it in the stats. You can see it in the flow of the game. And now, you can see it on live TV. That viral moment, that argument, that was the result of months of dysfunction. And Clark finally had enough. She didn't explode because she's immature. She exploded because no one else would say it out loud. This team is broken, the system is broken, and it's time to fix it. So, where do the Fever go from here? If they're smart, they rally around their star. They give her the reins. They let her lead. Because Caitlin Clark isn't the problem. She's the solution. Drop a 100% in the comments if you're riding with Clark. Smash that like button if you've seen enough of the drama. And subscribe for more breakdowns just like this. Because the Fever might be in trouble. But Caitlin Clark, she's just getting started.
During All-Star Weekend, Caitlin Clark joins Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe for a live episode of A Touch More. And let's just say that Caitlin Clark does not hold back on dishing the tea.
I hope the rest of the WNBA was listening. Judging by the platform of this interview, I know for a fact that dump divers in the WNBA were listening. I also know for a fact that normal people were not listening, because normal people don't give a damn.
Caitlin Clark just shocked the world, and she didn't even need a basketball to do it. In her boldest moment yet, Clark went live with Sue Bird at WNBA All-Star Weekend and didn't hold back.
Whisper, whisper, whisper. Ooh. Oh. Why did everybody say it like that?
What were you actually saying? Don't lie to us.
From slamming false media stories, to owning her viral meme moment, to tossing spicy shade at her own coach, this was raw, unfiltered Clark, and it changed everything. But what exactly did she say that left the room stunned, fired shots at her critics, and flipped the entire media narrative on its head? Let's break it down.
She does appear on a live taping of A Touch More podcast, which is Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe's podcast. I actually touched on this a few videos back. They introduced her with the music that the old Bulls would walk out to, like super dramatic fashion, and sarcastically brought her out as every ref's favorite. So that kind of set the tone for the rest of the podcast, and the whole thing gave us like a big inside scoop as to some of the more viral moments that Clark has been involved in and what was going on in her head.
Because when Caitlin Clark speaks from the heart, the world listens. First, let's set the stage. Sue Bird's live podcast, A Touch More, was packed. Fans were buzzing. Caitlin Clark, fresh off being snubbed from playing in the All-Star game, stepped into the spotlight as Indiana's hometown hero.
Hailing from just a few states over, she loves a good Cheez-It and will wash it down with some swig. She loves Scrabble, outdoor concerts at the Ruoff, and golfing at Crooked Stick. She's every ref's favorite, and she dresses like a CEO because she's a boss. Please welcome to the show, Caitlin Clark. Let's go.
And from the moment she grabbed the mic, you could feel it. This wasn't a safe PR moment. This was Caitlin unleashed. She wasn't here to play nice. She was here to set the record straight. And that's exactly what she did.
I hope WNBA players were listening. For the first time, possibly ever, I hope they had their ears open and their yappers shut. Because the Roo from Waterloo dropped some wisdom yesterday, and WNBA players need to hear it.
Let's start with the shot heard around the WNBA. Caitlin Clark took direct aim at one of the most ridiculous rumors making headlines, that she turned down the NBA three-point contest because she didn't want to shoot off a rack. Her response, lethal, sarcastic, legendary. I don't know who wrote the article, but I'm sure they didn't feel great about themselves after I did that.
So recently, there was like that rumor, lie, whatever you want to call it, which was so dumb that you declined because you didn't want to shoot off a rack.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Where do these people come up with this is beyond. But I'm actually curious. You finally, it doesn't always happen. Honestly, even we have a podcast, mics on our face. You don't always get the opportunity to be like, no, that was a lie.
Yeah.
And just kind of like
And
call
I
it
did,
out
yeah.
and like fact check them.
Yeah.
That had to have felt good.
It did feel good. I don't know who wrote the article, but I'm sure they didn't feel great about themselves after I did that. So I don't know who their source was, but whoever their source was wrong. But
They didn't have one.
I guess
They didn't have a source.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I would prefer to catch and shoot off of a pass, but any basketball player would say that. But it's a 3-point competition. Everybody shoots off a rack. That's just how it goes.
She flat out called it a lie, said the media just made it up, and she fact-checked it live with a smile on her face and zero hesitation. That moment made one thing clear. Caitlin Clark isn't here for the fake narratives. She's done playing along with the media circus and fans.
What's even worse is when people base their opinions of themselves off comments from strangers on social media. Social media is not real. People will say things on Twitter that they would never say to your face.
Loved every second of it, but that wasn't even the spiciest part. When Sue Bird brought up Clark's now iconic performance against the New York Liberty, you know, the one where she lit it up from deep, Caitlin didn't hold back. She casually explained how she gets into a rhythm. If I hit 2 in a row, I'm probably going to launch a third. Maybe not advised by the coach, but I gotta get it up.
The New York Liberty game recently, the 3-3s, like heaters. So that's actually, I think the Liberty game is a better example. Can you just tell us? And the answer, I've gotten this question, not quite in the same way, where it's like, what's it like in the zone? But when you're like feeling this heater approaching, like what, like, do you know? Like what's happening? For those that'll never experience it, can you tell us?
Well,
what is this like?
First thing I would say, in college, every game I thought I was on a heater. I would say more so professionally, like that Liberty game. I feel like as a shooter, like when you see like 2 or 3 go in, especially like for me, like if I have 2 back to back in a row, like I'm probably gonna launch a third that maybe isn't advised by Steph, but like I gotta get it up. And then if the third goes in, like you're just hot. I think as a shooter, like your confidence just builds and builds and builds. It's just coming off your hand better. The rim looks big.
Not advised by the coach. That was a subtle, cheeky jab at Stephanie White, her own head coach. And the crowd erupted. Clark didn't say it with malice. She said it with confidence, control, swagger. That's how you throw shade and keep the room on your side. And whether she meant it as a joke or not, it exposed the growing tension between player and coach. A story that's been bubbling beneath the surface all season.
This Caitlin Clark versus Stephanie White thing could turn ugly, and it could turn ugly fast, y'all. I have to be straight up with y'all. Stephanie White wants to play the polar opposite way that Caitlin Clark wants to play.
Now here's where Clark flips the script completely. You think you know Caitlin Clark? Think again. She opened up about being misunderstood, how the world sees her fire on the court, but misses the goofy, joking side off it. People don't realize I'm just comedic relief in the locker room. She's fiery on the floor, but off it, she's cracking jokes in the group chat, laughing about memes, and keeping it light. And yes, she addressed the viral face-off moment with Atlanta's Ryan Howard, the freeze frame that turned into a full-blown meme.
This is Goofy that you're talking about. Goofy Caitlin.
I feel like every game there's always like a new meme of me doing something.
This one is top notch. I don't even know what happened.
I mean,
I do.
What game is this?
I have no idea.
Atlanta. Ryan Howard was trying to rough you up.
Oh, is that? I was like, I don't care. I don't care.
You're like, I'm not scared of you.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
I'm not scared of you.
Who are you?
Yeah,
I did say that.
Oh, it was so good.
I
remember I was watching this game
tough.
live.
I thought I was tough, and then this is what I look like.
Honestly, the freeze frame doesn't do you justice.
Like, that's not fair. I didn't actually look like that, right?
No, you were not that goofy in real time. This is so good. In real time, you were like, let's fucking go. Like, I'm right here. My whole face is right here.
My hair's all messed up. I just got hit.
Yeah, you hadn't fixed the pony
No,
yet.
I hadn't.
Clark laughed it off like a pro. I'm not scared of you. Who are you? It wasn't just self-aware, it was hilarious. She even roasted her own hair, saying her ponytail was all messed up. That's the kind of personality the WNBA desperately needs more of. But this interview wasn't just jokes and jabs. Clark went deep. She talked about how social media creates a false version of her and how she stays grounded by focusing on the little kids in the stands, the real fans, not the ones hiding behind Twitter accounts. When you show up to arenas, that's when you remember how many people really support you.
Well, I think first, you have to remember, like, social media is just like such a false perception of reality. And even for myself, like, you don't always realize that at times. Like, it's not the real world. And, when you're in a position of, people are going to love you, people aren't going to like you. But I think when I show up to arenas, those are the moments that, like, really remind me of, like, how many people are really there supporting you and loving you. Like, the little boys and the little girls, those are the people that are on social media, like, caring about every decision you make or every comment you make. But also at the same time, I feel like I just try to show up every single day and be myself and approach it that way and just be authentically me.
That honesty, that vulnerability, that's what makes Caitlyn different. She's not a brand, she's a human being. And she's not afraid to show it. Let's talk about that Taylor Swift moment. If you remember the viral clip of Clark whispering into Taylor's ear at a Chiefs playoff game, the internet exploded with theories. Well, Clark cleared it up. She was just explaining a penalty flag. Honestly, I was just telling her why they threw a flag. Simple, sweet, totally normal, and that's what made it so good.
Honestly, like, I love football and I know a lot about football, so I was like telling her, like, why they threw a flag, or like, but in the best way. Like,
She doesn't know a lot about
I don't
football.
even know everything, like, so I was just explaining things. But yeah, that was really fun. I'm a big Chiefs fan, so.
Because for Caitlyn Clark, even the most ordinary moments become headline news. She's the rare athlete who straddles sports and pop culture with ease, and she handles it with total grace. From playing in front of sold-out arenas to being sculpted out of butter at the Iowa State Fair, Clark is embracing every strange, funny, and surreal part of her rise. She even gushed about her white Nike cleats from high school soccer like they were Jordan ones.
Well, that was our rival high school, so we played at State. Got the Nike cleats. I thought my cleats were so sick. They were all white.
They are, yeah. For sure.
I loved soccer cleats. Oh, it's the same with basketball shoes.
That's who she is. Confident on the court, unfiltered on the mic, and unapologetically Iowa to the core. But let's be clear, this wasn't just an entertaining sit-down. This was a statement. Clark isn't just showing up to interviews anymore. She's owning the room, calling out false narratives, challenging authority, laughing at the noise. She's not just the face of women's basketball. She's becoming its most powerful voice. This interview proved it. She's not here to be managed, molded, or muffled. She's Caitlyn Clark, and she's just getting started. If you're still watching, drop Clark Unfiltered in the comments to show you ride for Caitlyn's honesty. What was your favorite moment from this interview? Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and click the next video on screen because you won't want to miss what Clark does next.